Hello everyone and welcome to SuttonsDaze. Today I thought we would chat about bugs. Bugs, don't bug me. Today I thought we would chat a little bit about infestations and what we can do about them and to prevent them, okay? Most infestations occur in food that we bring into the house. That's where the cause comes. So when you're bringing in things like rice or flour, I'll use those two a lot as examples. The best thing to do is to take them and put them in a freezer. You know, you always hear people say, put them in a freezer for a week or two and it'll kill off anything that's in them. And then you can put them in your long-term storage or your short-term storage or whatever the case may be. But if you just bring it in and put it in a bucket or put it in whatever you put it in, there is the possibility that you may be walking by there one day and go, where did all these little bugs come from? And that's what we want to try to prevent, okay? There are three ways that I have found for dealing with infestations. And one of them I'm not real sure about. I'm really not real sure about. It's not anything I've tried. It's just something that I read about and I'm waffling on the idea, okay? But there's microwaving, there's freezing, and there's heating. So three different ways that you can prevent bug infestations or things that you can do to prevent bug infestations. So let's get started. One of the things that you can do is to microwave your food. Yes, microwaving will kill any larvae, insect eggs, you know, bugs that might be in there. That'll kill them for sure. Microwave them. But you run the risk at scorching a lot of your foods, especially if it's things like cornmeal. That'll scorch super fast. It doesn't make sense. There are some, I'm going to look at my notes here. Some studies found that 28 seconds at 500 watts kills eggs of all pantry pest species. However, some other sources recommend microwaving on high for 5 minutes to kill all eggs. Now, yeah, I mean, I've put frozen broccoli in there for 5 minutes, you know, and it comes out, you know, edible. But putting in a dry grain, I'm just thinking you're going to scorch it. So that's something I really am not promoting. I'm just telling you that it's one of the options that people have put out there. Not all foods can be microwaved to kill pests, okay? Foods for sprouting. If you're saving things for sprouting, you'll kill its ability to sprout. So don't do anything like that, such as beans, seeds, that kind of thing, right? Don't microwave them. It's not good. They won't sprout. You're killing it, really. You're killing it. So like I said, cornmeal, corn scorches very easily. So that's not something that you want to do. Whole grains found that microwaving for more than 90 seconds damaged the endosperms of the grains, which means that you could reduce the nutrition. Well, what's the point? I mean, you know, if you're going to reduce the nutrition right off the bat, it doesn't make sense. Pasta can be microwaved to kill insect eggs, thank you. But it causes hot spots. So again, you're tampering with the quality of the food. So microwaving, not necessarily my preferred method, okay? You can definitely microwave, pardon me, white rice, flour, and oats, but I think that you're risking unnecessarily damaging the quality of the food if you do. But it's an option if it's something that you want to do. Another method is heating. Now, I have seen videos and heard people talk about taking their foods and putting them into glass jars, the mason jars, and putting those jars into the oven and oven canning. And what I'm going to tell you is that it is highly not recommended by the manufacturers of the jars. I spoke to them, I called them, I spoke to them, and I said, should we be doing this? And he was emphatic. Absolutely do not put the jars in the oven because it's not the kind of glass that is made for dry heat. So you are risking not only the jar, but you're risking the food in the jar if it cracks and breaks. So don't do that. I mean, it's not necessary, okay? Vacuum sealing is a different thing altogether, but we'll get to that. So if you were to decide to heat your dried goods in order to kill off any egg larvae, sources vary drastically on, you know, the time and temperature and all that stuff. Some say 120 degrees for 2 hours and others say 140 degrees for 15 minutes. Yet another says 140 degrees for 2 hours. So there's no set method anywhere that says how to do this. Just like with microwaving, if you were to heat anything that's supposed to sprout, you're going to kill it. It's not going to work. So it's not, again, a really great method to do it, but if you want to, you definitely can. Another method, which I mentioned at the beginning, is freezing. And this is probably the easiest way, and you're not going to kill anything in the grain or in the bean that is living that you may need it to sprout. You don't have to worry about that. If you're freezing it, it just puts it to sleep. It's so nice, but it does kill any insect larva. So that is another great way to do it. Anywhere from 3 to 7 days. It's really up to you. I've had people say 2 weeks, but really 3 to 7 days, depending on your schedule and what's going on. That's all you need to do. I break down large quantities into smaller quantities and then freeze them because I don't always have room for a 50-pound bag of anything in my freezer. So that is absolutely acceptable and an easy way to do it. So definitely, you have to remember, though, that if you're repackaging after you pull it out of the freezer, that you want it to come back up to room temperature before you transfer it into any buckets or Mylar bags or anything like that, because you don't want any moisture that is created by freezing to remain in there when you transfer it. So let it come back up to room temperature and all's well. Another method that I've mentioned before is oxygen absorbers. So the insect larvae cannot do anything if there's no air. So if there's no air, it won't live. So if you are storing in buckets or glass jars or Mylar bags and you toss in an oxygen absorber or two, then that prevents the insect larvae from hatching. Very good thing, very easy. You don't have to worry about breaking your jars. There's all kinds of stuff that just makes sense for doing it that way. So that's another option. I'll put a link below to the oxygen absorbers that I use. They come individually sealed. I can't remember how many there are now, but say if there's 100 of them, they come in packets of 10 so that you don't have to open the whole package of 100, and that way they last longer. So I think it's a really great deal, and I'll put that in the comment in the description area below for you. So a lot of people talk about putting bay leaves or mint gum or even salt in with your products in order to prevent any larva infestation, right? Any infestation from the larva. And largely, those are unproved methods. So I don't really subscribe to the put a bay leaf in it and everything will be fine. I don't. What you'll end up with is bay flavored, flour or whatever else. So that's not something I subscribe to. However, it is something that I have heard repeatedly over the years. It's unproven as a method at this point. But hey, if it's worked for you, toss a comment below and let us know how it's worked for you, and if you've ever had any failures or if it's always worked. I'd love to hear your story. So you're just learning this and you have a moth or a weevil infestation. What do you do to get rid of them? One of the most important things that you can do to get rid of them is to contain the infestation as quickly as possible. And that means that you're going to have to find where they're coming from, number one. And for example, if you stored rice in an airtight container, you might see bugs inside the container, but not in the rest of your pantry. Get that out of your pantry before they infest anything else that's in there. You don't want to open another container while that infestation is still in your pantry area, in your kitchen area, because then they'll make their way in there. Trust me, they will find a way to make their way in there. So you want to make sure that you're looking around, that you're paying attention, try to find where it's originating from as quickly as possible. Don't open any other containers, and then get rid of the infested container. Next, what you want to do is you want to protect any of your unaffected foods. If you're not seeing anything in any of your other affected foods, you think you located exactly where that infestation is coming from, now's the time to go back and stick things in the freezer and repackage them. Take the pasta out of the boxes, take the rice out of the bag, take the flour out of the bag, freeze them, kill off anything that's in there, repackage them in more airtight containers, and then you should be fine. It's just, it's another step. You don't have to get rid of everything. You just have to kind of retroactively protect everything that you have once you have located that infestation. Another thing that you can do, if you have located that infestation, without opening it further, you know, and possibly increasing the infestation. If you can take that container that you know that's infested and put it directly into your freezer, that'll kill off anything, so that when you do open it up and get rid of everything, then you're safe and you don't have to worry about them going to another area. If you don't have a problem with eating, you know, bugs, it probably won't hurt you. If you don't want to eat infested food, it's best to toss it. It can be used for bird food if you want to make bird food. I don't know. But honestly, if you don't want to eat it, it's best to toss it and get it out of the house as quickly as possible. Again, I wouldn't open that container inside the house. I would do it outside of the house because you want to contain that infestation. There is a product, a friend of mine, her father had an issue with dog food, pet food, that became infested. And they were all over the place. They were all over the place in his home because of this. And so, you know, he knew it was an issue. And he picked up this really great product. I'm going to put a link in the description box below. And my understanding is that what this does is that the males are attracted to this, and it doesn't necessarily kill them, but it sterilizes them so that they cannot reproduce, okay? And then that just means a natural dying off of the infestation. And he said it worked really, really good. And the best part is this is something that you can buy today and put up in your pantry. You don't have to activate it, open it, anything like that, but have it in case something like that happens. I think that's a great idea. And so I'll put a link to that in the description box below. It's affordable. It's a good piece of insurance. If you're afraid of having any kind of infestation, it'll take care of it rather quickly. And, you know, it's just kind of naturally stops them in their tracks. The bad news is that moths can actually be worse than weevils because moths fly, you know, and so they can go into all different areas of your house. So you're really going to have to do a deep clean of everything. You want to make sure that they're not getting into anything in your kitchen, in your pantry, around your house. You know, just one good serious deep clean should help prevent, because the thing is, it only takes one moth or one weevil and poof, you've got an infestation. And it's really a pain to try to have to deal with that once it's there. So the best way to deal with it is to be preventative, to make sure that you're getting in front of it, and to have solutions on hand so that the minute you see one of those little boogers flying around, that you can get it taken care of. Because it is no fun to tear apart your whole house because of a few tiny little bugs that pretty soon will have all of their friends over, and it'll be like Daytona Beach on spring break. You know what I mean? Have you ever had an issue with infestation? What did you do? What things did you find helped? I'd love to hear what your solutions are in the comment section below. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Remember, until next time, be safe.